The story began in 1772. King Ahmad Shah Abdali was on his deathbed near Kandahar. He had been stricken with cancer and diabetes. He stuttered and used hand gestures to convey his meaning. In this condition, he made an important decision for the future of Afghanistan. The decision shocked his courtiers. He appointed his younger son Timur as his successor instead of the eldest Suleiman. His courtiers were unhappy. Such a violation of the Afghan tradition could lead to civil war. But was Abdali's decision really wrong? What was the outcome of the Sindhi-Afghan War? Why was Kabul made the capital of Afghanistan? Who was the Anarkali of Peshawar? And you will watch all this in DSJ's History of Afghanistan series. So Abdali appointed his younger son. Timur Shah was the governor of Herat. Suleiman Shah was the governor of Kandahar. The courtiers opposed the decision as it was against tradition. Wazir Shah Wali and General Jahan Khan were against this decision too. They both favoured his eldest son, Suleiman Shah. They tried their best to convince Abdali to change his decision. They asked him to appoint Suleiman Shah as his successor. But Abdali didn't agree. They didn't even allow Timur Shah to see his father. He was told that his father didn't want to see him. A disappointed Timur Shah returned to Herat. Abdali died in 1772/73 at the age of 50. The issue of his succession was still unresolved. The courtiers kept his death a secret. They also controlled the state's resources. Shah Jahan and Shah Wali took possession of the royal treasury. They didn't want this wealth to fall into the wrong hands. Abdali's body was taken in a palanquin to Kandahar. It looked like the king was still alive and riding the palanquin. An eunuch, Yakut Khan, also often visited the palanquin. He pretended to be talking to the king. Thus, no one knew of Abdali's death until the convoy reached Kandahar. The founder of the Durrani Empire, Abdali, had died. Both courtiers see Suleiman Shah as the new king, but their move was defeated quickly. The eunuch, Yakut Khan, was loyal to Timur Shah. He sent a secret message to Timur Shah in Herat. He informed him of the conspiracy. Timur Shah's brother was being enthroned against his father's will. Timur Shah received this message in Herat and quickly marched on Kandahar. But Suleiman Shah had no great army to fight his brother. Timur Shah's forces were closing in on Kandahar via Farah province. Suleiman Shah fled to India. Now, Shah Wali Khan and Jahan Khan feared for their lives. They went to Timur Shah's camp with their sons and appealed for mercy. But Timur Shah didn't show mercy. He sent for the executioner and beheaded them all. Then he arrived in Kandahar and took over the government. But he had realized a truth. He had realized that his own Durrani tribe wouldn't let him rule in peace. They would interfere and conspire against him. He needed a new capital to rule in peace. He wanted a place where his tribe wouldn't bother him. He wanted his loyalists around him. He also wanted defensible and trading capital. Only one Afghan city met all three requirements. This was the city of Kabul. Ghilzai tribes lived in the neighbouring provinces of Logar and Nangarhar. Timur Shah's mother was a Ghilzai, so these tribes were loyal to him. Kabul was also more defensible than Kandahar. Kandahar was a fortified city on flat land. Its walls couldn't withstand modern artillery, while Kabul was a riverside town nestled between mountains. The mountains and the river served as natural defences. Kabul also had a strong fortress, Bala Hizar. It had a double stone wall around it. Heavy guns could be mounted on its walls. The fort had a palace, military buildings, and a sufficient water supply system. So the Bala Hizar fort met Timur Shah's defence needs. But it wasn't just loyalty and defence that Timur Shah wanted. He needed a great trading city. Kabul also met this requirement. Kabul was an important trade route between India and Central Asia. A lot of trade caravans used to pass through Kabul. Kabul generates a lot more tax revenue than Kandahar. Many Hindu moneylenders also lived in Kabul. They were so rich that they were even able to give loans to the government. Because of loyalty, defense, and economy, Timur Shah chose Kabul as his capital. Then he also tried to limit the influence of the Durrani tribe in his court. He recruited a Turkmen Shaikh group into his army. He also recruited soldiers from the Hazaras and the Persian-speaking Western tribes. He also wanted to secure his harem. He employed thousands of slaves for the security of his harem. These slaves were mostly Turks or Mongols. He was doing all this for his own protection. He wanted to foil any possible conspiracy against him. A conspiracy was really brewing against him. The conspiracy also involved a saint who had crowned Timur Shah's father. Timur Shah didn't know that some of his courtiers were conspiring against him. They were against Timur Shah's policies. They didn't like the influence of non-Pashtuns in the court. Some powerful religious people also opposed Timur Shah's lifestyle. Timur Shah was an alcoholic. The religious class didn't like a drunken ruler. Many courtiers and the chiefs of the Mohmand tribe joined the conspiracy. They plotted to overthrow him. Arsalan Khan, the former Durrani governor of Sindh, led the conspiracy. The powerful religious figure Mian Omar Chamkhani also supported them. In January 1775, Timur Shah was in Peshawar fort. The conspirators tried to carry out their plan. Arsalan Khan attacked the fort with 2,500 fighters from his Mohmand tribe. Timur Shah was sleeping in the fort. Arsalan Khan asked the guards to open the fort gate for a parade in the fort. The guards refused, and Arsalan Khan started arguing with them. Meanwhile, the rebels tried another door. They broke through a postern gate, killed the guards, and entered the fort. Then they started breaking down the inner gate of the fort. They could kill Timur Shah after breaking this door, but suddenly the tables turned. The noise awoke Timur Shah. He climbed a fort tower, took off his turban, and waved it in the air. Thus he signaled to his slaves, the Qazilbash, to rescue him. The slaves attacked the Mohmand tribesmen. The tribesmen were caught unawares. Many Mohmand rebels died. The rest were captured, and all of them were killed. Timur Shah wanted to execute Mian Muhammad Omar Chamkhani too, but his courtiers opposed it. They thought it was politically wrong to kill a senior religious figure. Therefore, Mian Muhammad Omar was spared. Arsalan Khan was safe among his Mohmand tribesmen. He blocked the Khyber Pass and cut off Timur Shah from Kabul. Timur Shah realized the difficulty of fighting him in the Khyber Pass. He took an immoral step. He sent a delegation to Arsalan Khan with the Holy Quran. The delegation offered Arsalan Khan a pardon if he went in person to Timur Shah. Because of the oath given in the Holy Quran, Arsalan Khan went to Peshawar, but he was immediately arrested and killed. This incident infuriated the Mohmand tribes. The people of the Mohmand tribe never forgot Timur's treachery in the name of the Quran. Clashes continued between the Durranis and the Mohmand tribes until Timur's death. But there was another incident that the people of Peshawar never forgot. This decaying tomb is located in Wazirbagh, Peshawar. The locals call it Beju's tomb. This tomb belongs to Bibi Jan, a concubine of Timur Shah Durrani. You can also call her the Anarkali of Peshawar. She met the same fate as Anarkali in Lahore. Now you know the love legend of Prince Salim and Anarkali. Anarkali was a slave girl who loved Prince Salim, son of Emperor Akbar. Akbar allegedly entombed Anarkali alive. Similarly, Bibi Jan was also a slave girl and she loved Timur Shah Durrani. Bibi Jain was famous for her beauty and intelligence. She wasn't only the mistress of Timur Shah, but his advisor as well. Timur Shah affectionately called her Bibo, but the queen, Mughal Princess Zahra Begum, was so jealous of this love. She insultingly called Bibi Jain Bijo instead of Bibo. Bijo means monkey in Persian. One day, Zahra Begum forced Bibi Jain to drink poison. Timur Shah grieved over Bibi Jain's death, but he couldn't punish his queen. According to the legend, he built this tomb for Bibi January, Timur Shah, and Bibi Jain's love story is still folklore in Peshawar. Timur Shah struggled throughout his reign to save his throne and his father's empire. During his reign, the Durrani Empire was crumbling. Sikhs had recaptured Punjab, while Sindh's rulers had declared independence. Balochistan and Kashmir were also in open rebellion. Shah Murad of Bukhara was attacking northern Afghanistan. Any other person would have failed in these circumstances. However, Timur Shah proved himself the rightful heir of Abdali. Timur Shah stopped the decline of the Durrani Empire. He couldn't end it, but he delayed it considerably. He recaptured Multan from the Sikhs. He also sent his commanders to invade Sindh. The Afghan forces looted the cities and burned crops in Sindh. The local rulers of Sindh agreed to pay tribute after these attacks. Thus, Sindh remained a nominal part of the Durrani Empire. Similarly, Timur Shah regained control of Balochistan and Kashmir. He also repulsed the Shah of Bukhara in northern Afghanistan. Only Punjab remained out of Durrani hands. Though Multan was captured, the rest of the Punjab remained independent. Powerful Sikh factions continued to defeat the Afghan invasions. Timur Shah had made the Durrani Empire strong again, but heavy drinking was spoiling his health. After the age of 40, his health declined rapidly. It also affected his mental abilities. He constantly feared assassination in his last days. In 1793, he was returning to Kabul from Peshawar after spending the winter. While passing through the Khyber Pass, his horse spooked. The feather on his turban, the mark of a king, fell off. Timur Shah and his soldiers took it as a bad omen. They thought that the end of Timur Shah was near. Was this omen correct? By the time Timur Shah's army reached Jalalabad, his kidneys were failing. He was also suffering from a high fever. He continued his march towards Kabul, but his situation got worse near the city. He looked like a man near his death. He invited some of his sons and important courtiers to his tent. Here, he appointed Shah Zaman as his successor. He was the fifth son of his beloved wife, Mariam Begum. Like his father, Timur Shah didn't appoint his eldest son as his successor. Shortly after the announcement of his successor, Timur Shah, 46, died. This domed building is located on Kabul's Mandavi Road, near the Kabul River. This is the last resting place of Timur Shah Durrani. Timur Shah was fortunate that he had only one contender for the throne. That was his brother, Sulaiman Shah, whom he had easily defeated. But Zelan Shah, Timur Shah's successor, wasn't so lucky. Timur Shah had married many times to appease his tribal allies. He had 24 living sons. Many of them were young at the time of his death. Shah Zaman had to fight all these rivals to secure his father's throne. There were also rumors that Timur Shah's death wasn't natural. One of his wives had allegedly poisoned him. These rumors cast doubt on Shah Zaman's succession. Apparently, these rumors were being spread by Zaman Shah's opponents. They wanted to change public opinion against him. In Kandahar, Zaman Shah's half-brother Humayun Mirza declared himself king. Mahmud Mirza, the ruler of Herat, also recognized Humayun Mirza as king. This situation wasn't encouraging for Shah Zaman. His other half-brothers in Kabul were also conspiring against him. It seemed that Shah Zaman's government wouldn't last long. But Shah Zaman's mother, Mariam Begum, acted decisively. She strengthened Shah Zaman's rule. Mariam Begum bribed a former minister, Payanda Khan. Payanda Khan also belonged to the Barakzai branch of the Durrani tribe. Abdali, Timur Shah, and Shah Zaman belonged to the Sadozai branch of Durranis. One of Payanda Khan's sisters was married to Timur Shah. So, Payanda Khan was a close relative of Shah Zaman. He arranged a meeting between the princes in Kabul and Shah Zaman. It was arranged that the issue of succession would be decided in this meeting. The princes agreed and came to Bala Hizar with their supporters. They had come to negotiate with Shah Zaman. However, when they all gathered, Shah Zaman's soldiers locked them in the room. They remained there without food or water for 5 days. They were regularly asked if they were ready to pledge their loyalty to Shah Zaman. The growing hunger and thirst finally convinced everyone. They were now ready to serve Shah Zaman. So they all pledged their loyalties. All the other people were allowed to go, but the king's brothers remained captives. Now only 2 brothers are left to deal with. These were the governors of Kandahar and Herat. Shah Zaman gathered a large army to fight them. He captured Kandahar and Herat from his half-brothers. Mahmud Mirza fled and took refuge with the Iranian ruler Fateh Ali Shah. Humayun Mirza wasn't so lucky. He was captured by Shah Zaman. He was blinded and imprisoned along with other princes in Bala Hizar. Shah Zaman had a strong grip over the government. Shah Zaman wanted to restore the former glory of the Durrani Empire. He wanted to restore those areas captured by his grandfather, Abdali. This mission was impossible without capturing Punjab. So Shah Zaman decided to invade Punjab, a task even his grandfather couldn't fulfill. But another grandson was also in Punjab to fight Shah Zaman. How was the fight between these grandsons? How did the East India Company conspire against Afghans? How did the Afghans lose Peshawar? We will all know this in the next episode.